Hi, I'm Heather Markell and I'm back with tip number 3 in a series to help you with the fundamentals of starting a new business. Hopefully by now, since the first 2 lessons, you've come up with some great ideas for your business and you figured out which ones make the most sense at the moment considering the target market and whether people can afford your services. So, this lesson is about choosing a name for your business. Now this can be one of the most fun and one of the most overwhelming processes in the experience of starting your own business. So choosing a name is actually a lot tougher than it sounds. First off, you want to pick a name that's meaningful to you, but you also want to pick something that's meaningful to the people looking for you. So what I mean by that is think about keywords, like how are people going to find your business? And if you are a pet shop or something and you are going to set up a pet grooming service and you call yourself Blue Cheese, then what's the correlation? People probably aren't going to think of pet services with a name like Blue Cheese. So, and bear with me, I like to give silly examples, but hopefully they are meaningful and to the point. So, in addition to thinking about, like I said, the name that's meaningful to you, it's looking at names that are meaningful to people trying to find you. Now, one of the ways you can figure that out is with keywords. If you go to Google and you type in free keyword tracker, you will find a great resource that's free, which you can use to figure out the words or phrases people are typing into Google to find you. So if you are doing the pet grooming services, you might type in pet or grooming or pet grooming and see how many hits those keywords are getting. Now, the free keyword tracker I'm talking about displays the results on a per month basis. So if you see there are 10 hits for pet grooming, you'd want to multiply that by 12 to get the annual average of 120 hits. So that's decent. Of course, if you had 1,000, that would be even better. If you have none, then you're probably looking at a keyword that isn't so good because people are not actually typing it in to find you and your services. That being said, the more hits a word has, the more likely that it's already in use as a name. And as you're thinking about your business name, you also need to be thinking about a domain name because, again, if you come up with Dogs R Us as your company name, but the domain name dogsareus.com, and you do ideally want a .com name because those are more common, you basically are kind of defeating the purpose because you have to pick bluecheese.com now for the Dogs R Us company, and again, now it doesn't quite work. So you want to make sure that you can secure the same domain name as your business name. So when I picked Culture Transition Coaching, which let me tell you took a lot of work and several weeks and maybe even months, I don't remember now, to find, I did take culturetransition.com and also culturetransitioncoaching.com because again, I wanted to make sure that if they were available, somebody else did not get a domain name that was similar to my business name. So there's a lot of thought that's going into the domain names. Now, the other thing you need to think about is trademarks. If somebody has a trademark on the name that you want for your business, you can't use it. And if you do, then they may ask you to stop using it, which could mean taking down a website you've worked really hard on, throwing out stationery and business cards and such that you've spent a lot of time and money on. So the way to figure out if there's a trademark is you can, again, go to Google and look for the TESS database. That is T like Tom, E-S-S, TESS database. That will show you, in the US anyway, whether there's already a trademark in place for the name that you want for your business. I'm not saying you need a trademark because there are advantages, but there are also disadvantages to the process, and it is a lengthy process to secure one. But you definitely want to avoid using a business name that someone has a trademark for. So that being said, I will tell you a little trick that I've seen just a couple times, but so that you're aware, if someone has applied for a trademark and it has not yet been registered, by the name of their business, you'll see a circle, and in the circle is TM, like trademark. That means that the trademark was applied for, but hasn't yet been registered. If they have a circle with the letter R in it, that means it was registered and effectively accepted. However, I have seen a couple of instances where people are using the R in the circle, but when I went to the test database, I did not see the trademark registered. So just because you see that registration mark doesn't necessarily mean it's registered. So just keep that in mind. The test database is a definite great resource to use to confirm that. When you do use it, make sure that if you're using a combination of words or a phrase as your business name, make sure that you type them in together, but also separately. Because if someone has a trademark on just one of the words in your phrase at large, and they are in a similar industry, then you may have a problem. So this is all things that you want to consider as you're putting together your business name. Okay, once you have that, you want to make a logo. And again, logos are very fun and exciting, but also really difficult because, again, there's lots of concepts about, again, what's meaningful to you in terms of words, pictures, and colors, what's meaningful to other people. And I'll tell you from experience that I find that whatever logo you start out with, you may end up changing it later, and that's fine. You'll also find multiple people and resources to design a logo. I think there's a website called something like Fiverr.com, I think it's with 2 R's at the end, where it's things people will do for $5. And I believe that there are people that will make logos. There are other companies where you can spend $50, $100, or if you have more and you want to, I'm sure that there are graphic design artists that would love to work with you as well. So there's multiple resources that you have. And typically, the logo is your branding, and you can pick pictures, you can pick words, you can have a tagline. There's fonts to consider. There's a lot of work that goes into a logo. So just be aware it's fun, but a lot of work. So that completes our lesson 3 for this series. And we'll be, again, building on this next week in lesson 4. If you have any questions at all on anything I'm saying, please feel free to post a comment below. I'm happy to see your questions and answer them, and wish you lots of luck, and I'll talk to you next week. Until then, this is Heather Markel with Culture Transition Coaching.